Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford at studio here with you just after 1 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. We will discuss possible cancellations, postponements, already one postponement in the SEC for the weekend. That's State and Auburn, so we'll go through that a little bit today, as well as anything else that strikes our fancy. Look at lines, because Jeffrey and I did not do that yesterday as well. Appreciate Jeffrey helping me out a little more, right at an hour with him yesterday. You can find that a lot of college football, a lot of NFL, a little Masters talk there at the end. That was sort of the reason for it at the beginning, but we got going on college football and stayed there for a while. So very little golf talk, mostly football yesterday with Jeffrey on the Monday edition of the podcast. We're moving toward Ole Miss in South Carolina, 6:30 Saturday evening from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. The Gamecocks and the Rebels haven't played too much, only the second meeting since 2009, only the second time they will have played since that infamous night on that Thursday in Columbia back 11 years ago. So that and more as the week moves on a podcast that's brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Get the Speed Pass Plus out, download it, use it. It's a very efficient way to pay right there at the pump. Get on with your day. You can earn points. You can earn rewards all around. If you're going to get gas, you might as well get it at the Oxford Exxon, all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. And you better use the Speed Pass Plus app while you're at it. Also, lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. All right, you'll love the product. You'll love the service. Everything about the people at Clark Ford, they're in it for you. They want to become your car guy. They want to become your truck guy. They'll prove it to you when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guests, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place to hang out this week, watch whatever games actually get played. You got Maction, I guess, that starts tonight. And the Masters starts Thursday, and then another weekend, of course, of college and pro football on the docket as well. And you can catch all of that at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford, as well as Rafters in New Albany.
Maction actually started last week overall, right? Weren't there a ton of games in the midweek last week?
I'm not sure.
Either way, it's this week, so that's what
shift, I think, this way a little.
This way?
Yep, there you go.
You may do that?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
You good with that?
Yeah, oh yeah, you're just trying to center up.
This day, 30 years ago, Home Alone came out in theaters. So Home Alone is
the first
30
one?
Yeah, the main one, the OG. It is 30 years old. Factoring in inflation, talk about one successful movie. It had a $26 million budget in 2020 dollars. Made $948 million at the box office. So somebody had a little turn there.
It's a good profit.
Yeah, but I think it got caught up mostly in like directors and studio stuff. I was kind of looking through some stuff earlier today that hardly anybody made much money at all. Like I think even Macaulay Culkin only made like $100,000 for the film.
Really?
So somebody did a very bad job with the contract back in the day.
Wonder how much he's made in residuals and such.
I have a feeling pretty good.
I
would assume that between how many times that's on TV, between everything else, that Macaulay's done a pretty good deal there with Home Alone. Although I guess child actor 30 years ago, talking about 1990, you probably wouldn't go, hey, just give me some points on the back end, depending on how this does. I mean, there was no guarantee or no thought that it was going to go for $1 billion. So I do at least understand how it happens, but looking back, pretty bad job by an agent there somewhere.
What's Macaulay Culkin doing these days?
That's a good question. He went off the deep end a little bit there for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not aware of seeing him in any films in a while. Haven't really looked him up.
What was the last film you watched? Have you watched a movie
just in general?
Yeah, in general.
Oh man, like not older. Like let me think.
Just a movie.
I know. I'm trying to think. I watched The Irishman, the Netflix movie with De Niro, the mafia thing. It was good.
I'm not sure I've watched a movie since the pandemic started.
At all.
I was just thinking about it.
I mean, I'll give some TV shows a shot, but I mean, it's got to be pretty dang compelling to hold me in.
Yeah. I haven't watched much at all.
I'm more likely to watch some older stuff that I've even seen, or just kind of put it on in the background while I'm working, or just kind of sitting around or reading or whatever for whatever reason. I'm more apt to do that, and yes, series are much more likely to catch my attention than movies for whatever reason. I mean, like we've talked about that. I mean, series are really, from a critical standpoint, they're the new movie, more than movie is. Let's see, Macaulay Culkin. Let's see, a little bit of he's going to be in the let's see, the 10th season of American Horror Story, so he is doing that here soon. Let's see, yeah, not much. He is he's done some musical stuff, some artistic endeavors is how it reads it here. So anybody that knows him really is only knowing him from Home Alone. He did The Good Son. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah.
He did that. A few things, but yeah. Hopefully he made a good bit off Home Alone. It's holding him up these days. I don't know. So anyway, but yeah, crazy enough. So what do we know? We know Auburn and Mississippi State is postponed. I don't know why I keep saying cancel.
Postponed till December the 12th. Miss Auburn suspended operations today, so had Mississippi State not thrown in the towel yesterday, Auburn apparently would have thrown it in today.
So State's the initial reason why it got canceled? Okay. Postponed.
Yes. Let's see. Tennessee, Texas A&M is up for grabs.
On as of now.
A lot of speculation this morning that game wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his Twitter a second ago. Billy Lucci covers A&M for TexAgs.com.
And then while you find that, LSU and Alabama, as of this moment, is hanging on in large part because CBS is saying, hey, we had a plan.
We need to get a game in here, guys.
Nobody in Baton Rouge thinks that game is happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because of LSU.
LSU apparently has 4 positives.
Are they all at one position or something?
I don't know. But they've got one quarter. See, here's the thing that the fans don't think, because in large part because the media is terrible with the story. It's not just COVID. If it were just COVID, everybody would be playing because everybody has enough numbers. But it's injuries, defections. LSU's down to 1 quarterback, no tight ends, and I'm not sure they have a deep snapper.
Mm-hmm.
And something tells me they'd probably need to punt against Alabama.
Well, yeah, because that's what we talked about. It's number of available scholarship players in whatever way, and it's 53 is the number. But then, like you said, it's per position, and you have one position that's one guy off, and that's it. I mean, it's why Lane and I assume pretty much everybody has moved around guys at different positions and tried to doctor some spots to make sure they're as able to play as they can, depending on what's going on. But I don't know. Let's see, where was it? Hold on a second ago.
Billy said that A&M's got 2 positive players, a positive staffer, but it's contact tracing that's the problem. He expects that the Tennessee A&M game will get moved to December the 12th, and he thinks that it will impact A&M's game against Ole Miss next Saturday, which is scheduled for 2:30.
Midday Tuesday, and I'm fully expecting A&M's game against Tennessee to be rescheduled for the December 12th weekend. Would obviously impact the Ags game against Ole Miss next weekend as well. A&M still sitting at only 2 positives among players plus 1 staffer, to the best of my knowledge, but contact tracing is a real 2-week issue. There's no way to dance around. It's what Lane Kiffin was frustrated with a couple weeks ago, is that if you are a positive case, you could test out, you can be symptom-free and get back in quicker, but if you're just around it and you're contact traced, barring the initial person who was positive testing out, you are out 14 days, which obviously would mean 2 games in most instances from a math standpoint.
It's my understanding that this is from Brett McMurphy. Arkansas coach Sam Pittman's follow-up test confirmed he was COVID positive, so he will not coach the Razorbacks Saturday at Florida. Billy Odom will fill in for him, and there's some rumors out there that there could be another coach going on the COVID list this
really?
week. Yeah. We'll see.
So how many games are we possibly having this week? 4?
Well, the big Georgia-Missouri game appears to still be on.
Okay. Ole Miss, South Carolina seems fine.
Vandy, Kentucky appears to still be on. A&M, Tennessee's trouble. Auburn, Mississippi State's gone. Bama at LSU is trouble. Arkansas at Florida will go on without Sam Pittman. And to my knowledge, South Carolina and Ole Miss intend to play. Here's the problem from a schedule standpoint. People are like, well, who's going to play the 2:30 game, the 5 o'clock game, whatever. CBS, and I'm sourced on this, CBS was pretty pumped about the Masters going until 6 Eastern, 5 Central, and then going straight into LSU, Alabama.
Okay.
There's not another game on that schedule that has national appeal.
Of course.
Before anybody gets mad at me, just truth. I mean, the closest thing would be, I guess A&M and Tennessee, and that game's in jeopardy.
Yeah, I mean.
You know, so CBS really wants it to happen. But the contact tracing thing is the problem. I mean, it's been the problem. So I don't know. We'll see. To my knowledge, the Ole Miss game is on at 6:30 and it's going to stay at 6:30. I guess it's conceivable it could move up earlier in the day.
Probably not, though.
ESPN could grab it. If A&M gets canceled and Alabama gets canceled, ESPN's got a wide-open hole at 2:30 that they're going to want to move a game into. That's my guess.
Because you got to do something there. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know how all that order works.
But do you have to? I mean, we don't know the answer here. I'm speculating, and we'll pose this question for us to find out later or see if it matters. The SEC network for their slot obviously can only have SEC games. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to go. ESPN in some ways might have to go grab a game from a different conference, right?
That's what I'm saying. I just don't know how the contract works.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Whether they would want a game at 2:30 or whether they'd want to keep a game in the primetime slot.
Can ESPN take an SEC network game and then SEC network just show a golf replay at 2 whatever? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Your guess would be as good as mine. I don't know how that would work. I don't know who gets priority in that spot. I don't know.
Me neither.
I mean, I know it's a crappy answer, but it's the honest one. I have no idea. Because I've never covered a week in my 20-something years of covering the league where 3 games got canceled.
I'm asking you a bunch of questions you don't have an answer to. Is any team that we're aware of, do they already have a rescheduled game for December 12th and is in trouble
LSU.
again? Okay.
Yeah, so here's the problem that they have, and this is the reason why I'm just telling you there's a real chance that this ultimately impacts Ole Miss. If LSU Alabama can't be played, LSU's already, because Florida had a COVID problem, playing Florida on December the 12th. You'd have to assume today that Alabama's in the championship game on the 19th, so they can't play LSU on the 19th also. I mean, I guess they could. Probably won't play 2 games in one day. I would think that some players would raise their hands and say, wait a minute, hold up. So you got to start moving games around.
Mm-hmm.
And you start looking at the teams that have lots of flexibility, and guess who's won?
The Rebels.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I'm just talking out loud. You could move. You could move LSU, Texas A&M. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I guarantee you the league's looking at it right now, and it might be one of the reasons that nothing's come out yet today about LSU. You'd have to move a lot of things around. You could, for example, and this is strictly hypothetical, you could move, say, Ole Miss, Mississippi State to December the 19th. Neither one of those teams is going to play in the title game if that game created room for other games to get shuffled around. And no one has said that to me. I'm just mentioning it as a hypothetical.
But do you believe that is at least an option that would be considered?
Yeah, of course.
To move, to literally shuffle.
The goal is to get all of the games in,
right.
However you do it. And at the beginning of the year, I know they told the ADs and the coaches, hey, this is not going to be a typical year, and if we have to do a mass shuffle, we do a mass shuffle. Deal with it.
Yeah. TV money, TV money, TV money,
yeah,
TV money.
So, I mean, yeah, I would think everything's on the table that allows them to get the games in. You know, your fear is that this becomes a 2 or 3 week, quote, wave that pushes everything into, I don't know when. When do the bowls start?
December 20th-ish.
Yeah. So you've got time. I mean, I don't know how many SEC teams are going to bowls and when those bowls would be. I mean, it's conceivable that not everybody gets 10 games in. We said that all along. Right now, at this moment, the only team that's in trouble for not getting 10 in is LSU. But LSU could play, for example, LSU could play Ole Miss on the 19th. LSU's not going to the title game. Ole Miss isn't going to the title game. So there is flexibility to get that done.
Mm-hmm. Only really news that came out today is Lane Kiffin handed Royce Newman a Senior Bowl pack. So Royce is in the Senior Bowl. He will not return next season.
That's correct. I talked to Royce as part of the people, and I asked him that question specifically, and he said he has decided to explore his professional interest, which should shock no one. He's a really good story. We criticized the previous staff for evaluation mistakes. That was an evaluation get. They got that one right. He didn't have many offers.
No. Athletic guy, can build into a body a little bit.
Ben Leslie makes a joke. He says LSU would probably prefer not to play 10. Yes and no. They'd probably prefer to avoid the embarrassment of getting pummeled by Alabama, but they'd like the check.
So you play, yeah, of course. I mean,
they're going to play. If the games can be played, they're going to get played. And Missouri has issues. So Georgia, Missouri is a problem. I mean, this could literally be the week that there's 2 games played.
Yeah. Coaches were worried about it this week.
Well, there's Halloween.
Yeah.
Players went home.
Yeah.
So, and it's the seasonal thing. I mean, this is the time of the year that the flu usually goes around. Not getting into the science thing, but this is the time of year that flu usually goes around. This year, COVID appears to have replaced the flu. And they're testing like mad.
Still 3 a week.
Yeah, so,
We'll see. I mean, it is what it is at the moment. Everybody's going to be flexible. Everybody's going to be patient. Get a 10-game season, you're probably going to get them all in at some point, and there's a couple months ago you'd have taken that however you could have gotten it. So
who has not missed a game so far? Who's on schedule? Obviously Ole Miss.
Kentucky?
I think Kentucky's on schedule.
Carolina.
South Carolina's on schedule. Georgia's on schedule.
Tennessee? I don't recall anything.
I think Tennessee is on schedule.
Bama's on schedule.
Alabama's on schedule.
I think that might be about it. Florida, LSU. Missouri, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Mississippi State. Georgia hasn't missed one yet, but is in trouble now.
Arkansas is on schedule.
They are.
Yes.
Yeah. A&M.
On schedule to this point.
Yeah. A&M's fine right now. That's it.
Okay.
Right?
I think so. Georgia's not missed a game yet.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, most everybody's kind of on schedule. Vanderbilt, LSU, Missouri, Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State have now all missed games.
Yes.
No one's missed 2 yet. LSU's the one at risk of missing a second game.
Yeah, the second one's what causes the problems. That and just schedule's not lining up. So.
And this wouldn't be a problem for LSU if it were against anybody but Alabama or, at this point, Florida, because both of those teams appear headed to the championship. So they have
less flexibility than everybody else because of that. Yeah, we'll monitor. I don't know. I mean, again, we're reading there. Billy Lucci usually pretty tied in with A&M, so whatever he's saying is probably accurate.
Oh, yeah, he's not wrong.
No, there's no doubt. But if it's only 2 positives, unless contact tracing got you at one position in some issue, you're okay as of now. That has to be speculation that more is coming for him to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if concerned is the word, but you know what I mean. So
I'm looking at Brett McMurphy's bowl projections.
Uh-huh.
He's got Alabama and Clemson in one semifinal, Ohio State and Oregon in the other. He's got Notre Dame, Florida in the orange, USC, Wisconsin. I don't know about that. BYU, Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl. Oklahoma State, Texas A&M in the Cotton. He's got looking for SEC tie-ins. He's got Missouri and UCF in the Birmingham Bowl, better them than us. Indiana, Georgia in the Citrus Bowl. I'd actually watch that.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. Virginia and Ole Miss in the Gasparilla Bowl. Where's that?
That's the bad. It's like Orlando, maybe Tampa, something like that.
I don't know. Virginia and Ole Miss in the Gasparilla Bowl. When's that one? Probably Christmas Day at 11.
Tampa.
What day? You got a date on that?
I'm looking. Who are they playing?
Virginia.
December 26th at noon.
That's fine. I'm not going. Sit here. Difference is big.
You sure you don't go spend a week?
Yeah, Texas and Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl. That'd be an interesting game.
Texas would be scared for their life right now if you told them in August or before the COVID stuff happened. Hey, next bowl game you're playing Arkansas. They'd go, oh shit.
Yeah, it's been years.
6-6 Horns. Yes.
Yeah. Liberty versus UAB in the Montgomery Bowl, Christmas Day for the Freezes.
Hold on. They go undefeated potentially, and they go to where?
The Montgomery Bowl.
Montgomery. Is that in that? Is it Crampton Bowl?
Yeah, Crampton Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. Looks exactly like it sounds, by the way. That's that.
Music City is Purdue versus Tennessee. I was told to expect quite a bit of geographic placement.
Hey, look, if you're the Liberty Bowl, you're finding any way to get Ole Miss in that son of a bitch.
Or Arkansas. Either one was going to bring a ton of people.
Like you're locally.
Yeah, if you tell them you can have Arkansas or Ole Miss, they're like,
I guess I was saying Ole Miss because they've been trying for years, and they just can't get it done. Ole Miss either doesn't get eligible or they get too eligible.
Depends on whether you can put fans in the stands. I mean, who knows, you know? I mean,
anyway.
Northwestern and Kentucky in the Outback. Sure. LSU and Kansas State in the Texas Bowl.
LSU fan base that will not be motivated for a bowl game.
They're not going to that.
Yeah.
No, sir. But they have a big alumni base in Houston, so you might get some of them to go.
It makes a lot of sense. So we'll look at lines for the week and the few games that are being played in a second. But we did tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, City County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
With fall upon us, now's a great time to start preparing for colder weather. No one wants to come home, find out their heating system isn't working. Our friends over at Comer Heating and Air have you covered. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust. Brings more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. Comer Heating and Air offering a special fall preventative maintenance agreement to make sure your heating system is running in tip-top shape. Make sure to call Comer Heating and Air, 662-801-1777, 662-801-1777. Don't wait for it to get cold, by the way. It'll happen, and then boom. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Christmas right around the corner. Holiday gifting always involves a last-minute scramble, but this year the folks over at Blue Delta Jeans are here to make sure it does not have to be that way. Simply visit their site at bluedeltajeans.com. Visit the Oxford studio or contact them at info@bluedeltajeans.com. Purchase a gift card. Give your loved ones the gift of custom Mississippi-made jeans for the holidays. Don't forget that Blue Delta would love to be a part of your holiday gifting at work as well. So no matter the number of people in your company, give Blue Delta a call to inquire about bringing Blue Delta jeans to your office for the best holiday gift there is. We're also brought to you by Jupiter Security Systems based in Madison, Mississippi. Jupiter Security Systems provides your business with a help desk, allowing you to get software at a much cheaper price than you would pay going directly to Microsoft or the different cybersecurity services. Jupiter offers businesses the full Microsoft 365 suite, email, spam protection, and they monitor your workstations and servers. They don't see your data, but they will know if malicious applications get installed on your computers. It's basically ADT for your computer systems and data. It's very affordable, flat price, no hidden add-ons. For more information, call Eric at 601-519-9583 or email info at jupitersecurity.net. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
South Carolina does not know who its quarterback will be this weekend. I wrote about that a little bit today. They don't know whether they're going to play Colin Hill, who has started all 6 games this season, but frankly has struggled and kind of sucked lately. He was very, very, very bad against A&M. 66 yards, I believe, was his total against the Aggies of the day, something like that. I had it right here. Yeah, 8 of 21 for 66 against A&M. On the season, not a whole lot better. 1,142 yards in 6 games, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks for Hill. Ryan Helinski, who played 11 games last season in relief of Jake Bentley. He is the other option. He's only played a very small number of snaps this season. I know he only played 9 against A&M in mop-up time. And they're giving the freshman a look as well, but it's got to be Helinski or Hill. I highly doubt it's the third guy. They've had some success this season running the football, Neal, and it looks like that's what Ole Miss is going to see on Saturday. They're just going to try to pound the rock and see what happens because neither one of those guys have shown a whole lot of ability to throw the ball down the football field.
That's what I do. We've talked about it before. You want to keep the Ole Miss offense off the field and shorten the game and not let your quarterback screw it up. And so you run it until they stop you, and then you go, okay, well,
we'll figure it out now.
Try to figure something else out.
That team beat Auburn. Even though Auburn kind of dominated a good bit of the game.
Auburn beat Auburn, and South Carolina was on the field at the same time.
And then they have looked like absolute trash the last 2 games. Just awful against A&M and LSU. What kind of trouble is Muschamp in? Because, I mean, obviously you got money issues everywhere.
Yeah.
What's going on
So
there?
I've talked to some people about this. He's owed $13 million, give or take a couple $100,000. They don't have it. And again, as of today, November the 10th, nobody knows what August and September are going to look like. Everybody's hopeful, right? Everybody's, hey, we all saw the vaccine news yesterday. There's more news about more vaccines. Everybody's hopeful. Hope's a dangerous thing when you're planning budgets. But is the vaccine going to be available for sure in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 5 weeks when you got to make these decisions? I don't know. In 5 weeks, are you going to be able to look at each other when you sit down in that when they sit down in their meetings and it's Ray Tanner and their CFO and their president and whoever sits in on that meeting to make that decision? Are they all going to be able to sit around that table and look at each other and go, oh, yeah, it's going to be fine. We're going to fill up the stadium next fall. We're going to start recouping the money. Someone's going to say, are you sure? Are we positive? And the answer to are we positive today is no, we're hopeful. Okay, well, what if we can't? Well, then we're screwed. And so at that point, you probably got to keep Will. Now, you get to the other side of this, right, which is where Ole Miss got last year, which is at the finish of that conversation where they look at each other and go, we can't afford it. Hand-raised guy in the room goes, I get it, and I know you're right.
Can you afford not to?
Yeah, but I'm just throwing this out there. Since we're all sitting here and the coffee's still warm.
We got a minute.
We're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
We're socially distanced. But can we afford not to? What if we suck next year? Like worse. What if we can have fans in the stands but they don't come? What then? And that's the part of the conversation, because the first part's easy to get to. We can't afford to do this. Let's just ride it out with Will. He's a good guy. His wife's nice. They're involved in the community. They're good people. We like them. We're cheering for them. We're rooting for them. Let's give him another year.
What the hell? Maybe something good happens.
Yeah. And then inevitably hand-raised guys in that room, or you would think, that just says, just to be contrarian, what if we can't? And then you get into that conversation, and it's the one I think they're starting to have, their people, is, would Hugh Freeze move the needle? He won at Ole Miss.
We're kind of like them.
Hugh Freeze, yeah. If we're honest with ourselves, we're the Ole Miss of the East. Would he win there? Would he win here? If we're in South Carolina's room. Would he win? He won there. Now, hand-raised guy would also go, hey, did you see them at the end of 16 and 17? Because that 17 team was his team. I just want to point out that they declined. It's where Hugh Freeze benefits more than anybody in the world. I know he was humiliated and he lost a amount of money.
Because neither one of us believe with Freeze they go 6-6 and 7.
No, they go 4-8.
Yeah, right.
And it's a disaster.
Yeah.
But he didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
So they say he went to Liberty, and he's winning, and he is. He just took an inferior team to Virginia Tech and won.
He's doing a hell of a job.
Doing a hell of a job. Does he move the needle? That's their question. And if he doesn't move the needle, who could we realistically get? And if we wait one more year, could we get Hugh Freeze? Will Tennessee move on Hugh Freeze? Would Mississippi State?
Is that the magic bullet where all the other crap goes away for Hugh Freeze and suddenly he's got a lot of options?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, Hugh Freeze is in the catbird seat right now. He's put distance between him and the Ole Miss thing.
Mm-hmm.
The league, apparently, I'm told, has basically reluctantly signed off and went, okay, whatever. He's probably not going to lose a lot at Liberty. If he stays at Liberty one more year, I mean, but I pulled up the Liberty schedule, okay?
The worst he's doing is going 9-2 this season.
But let's discuss who Hugh Freeze and Liberty have beaten.
Oh, I know. I've seen it. Because he's getting a lot of mileage out of one game that, whatever, sure.
Yeah, I'm not minimizing.
No, look, Syracuse still has more resource, well, I think, than Liberty. Go ahead.
They've beaten Western Kentucky
Sure.
by 6. Florida International by 2. They beat North Alabama, who plays like Division 7 or something.
They're a D1 school now, or FCS school now.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
They beat Louisiana Monroe, who I think is winless, all jokes aside.
They're awful.
I don't think they've won a game.
They're really bad.
They went to Syracuse and won. Okay.
Yeah. It's a good win. I mean, Syracuse it sucks, but it's a good win.
They beat a bad Southern Miss team that's gone through more coaches than quarterbacks this year, literally.
Literally, yeah.
And they went to Virginia Tech and won. They
have 2 big games left.
They play Western Carolina.
Yeah, they'll beat the Catamounts.
They go to Raleigh.
And then Coastal Carolina.
They play UMass, and they play Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, they have 2 fairly important games left on the schedule.
Yeah, and I'm not trying.
They're going 9-2 at worst. They could go 10-1 or 11-0.
So here's where they are, South Carolina. I think they could get Hugh Freeze today. I mean, he says I'm not intrigued, whatever. Give me a break. He's not turning down South Carolina to stay at Liberty. But if South Carolina decided, hey, we just don't have the money's, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip, you can't go buy a Lamborghini without the credit. So if they were to decide that, who would Hugh Freeze rather coach a year from now if all of these jobs became open? Would he rather coach South Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi State?
Is he immune? And I'm going to read their schedule in a second. So I think he is schedule-wise. Is he immune at Liberty from the Billy Napier problem, the Hudspeth problem of, hey, get the hell out when you can get out? Because he has a track record. He's been somewhere else before, too.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, I'm just the upper-coming, and then if it goes away, and it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at their schedule next year, and look, they can obviously – Liberty's not infallible. They can lose football games. But worst case, they're only losing like 3 football games next year. I've got their schedule up for 2021, assuming 2021 is normal.
Which right now is an assumption, but sure.
Whatever. Campbell, Troy, Old Dominion, Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. Well, they beat them this year, they beat them next year.
Yeah,
whatever.
Sure.
UAB.
Sure.
But Bill Clark,
UAB,
game.
they could lose to UAB.
Middle Tennessee.
It's a win.
ULM, North Texas, UMass. And then their last 3 are interesting. This is where we get interesting. Because I do think for Freeze to stay this high, even though he is immune to some of this we're talking about, he does have to continue to beat somebody. Because that's what got him into this conversation. He beat Syracuse. He beat whoever else.
Virginia Tech's what got this started up.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Other than Feldman, that's when it really piped up. They close next year here. And I don't think he would go 0-3, but if he did, does the star fall off a little bit? Ole Miss, Louisiana Lafayette, and Army.
Yeah,
that's an interesting close that could at least bring some indecision there if you're Hugh, where maybe you take a little lesser job as a guarantee this year if it's offered versus hanging on next year.
What job would you rather have if you're him, South Carolina or Tennessee? Here's what I would say. I would say South Carolina because I think you can avoid the recruiting territory better.
You can.
Tennessee's going to want you to recruit in Memphis. You get into Memphis and things start getting a little interesting.
Carolina media is not bad at all either, though. It's there's nothing there.
No, they're
friendly.
They're kind of laid back.
Yeah.
It's a drinking town, if you will.
It's close to an Ole Miss media contingent. It's not gonna. Tennessee's gonna go after you.
Well, Tennessee expects to win the national championship, even though there's no realistic reason to think that. South Carolina does not expect to win championships.
No.
They expect to be competitive, win some, have fun.
They'd love for Clemson to start sucking again.
I'm telling you, the similarities between South Carolina and Ole Miss are off the charts. Other than Columbia's a big town and Oxford's small. That's about it.
They are very similar.
Very similar cultures.
Well, and
it's all about the party.
In 18, they came to Oxford in droves in 18.
Busfuls.
Yeah. They got in like I guess I was talking to Lee Harris about this. They got in this big caravan at like noon on Thursday or Friday or whatever day it was, and basically they'd been like going all night long, like sleeping. They're all sleepy eyed. They like walked straight into the bars and started ordering all these Bloody Marys as they get in town. It's like what the?
Because that's when Ole Miss had just bottomed out, and Ole Miss people weren't going to the games.
Yeah. Yeah, 18 was
it?
It was 18, not 19.
I don't want to name the bar because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But it's my understanding there was at least one, and I've heard rumors of 2 bars that played the South Carolina fight song on demand. On that Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because they
were making
kind of
so much money. Yeah.
Yeah. You're home for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, money talks.
Hey. Was it?
We don't give the people. I'm not in this for the money. Give me a break.
It was 2012 when Texas tried to like rent out the entire restaurants and the bars and stuff in town. Yeah, they just wanted the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Look, there is a price. I mean,
sure.
Look,
sure.
Might be kind of high, but there is a price for everybody in that in that scenario.
I mean, we all have a price.
Yeah, I mean, this is only Ole Miss's second time in Columbia since 2004. Or sorry, it's in Oxford. But they haven't been to Columbia but once since 2004. Because they've only played in 08, 09, and 18.
Right. That's right. You're right. Because I was like, I was
there.
I was there in 09.
Yeah, and then at home in 08, the week after the Florida win. And then in 18.
Man, it was hot that night. God, it was hot.
Yeah, it's kind of for anybody who hadn't been to rebelgrove.com, it's kind of what I wrote about today is that the last 3 times they've played, South Carolina's won all of them. By the way, a little fun fact for you. In series history, Carolina's never beaten Ole Miss by more than 7 points in a game. Every Carolina win is 7 or 7 or fewer. It showed Ole Miss kind of where they were. In 08, they beat Florida, but they weren't ready for prime time yet. That team was still learning how to win. They got upended a week later, still reading press clippings, still really focused on the Gators from a week before.
Sure.
It was a learning opportunity because I thought Ole Miss played pretty well against Alabama the next week. They just got beat.
Yeah.
They played fine. They just lost the number 2 team in the country at the time.
Well, if Jevin picks up a read, it's a win.
31-30 Rebels.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Wallace or Hodge? Wide open middle of the field. Shea was open middle of the field. Yeah. He just missed him.
And then in 09, it showed Ole Miss was not a national title contender. They had locker room issues. They had all sorts of stuff all over the place. Carolina beat them 16-10. They didn't give Dexter the ball. Every single thing that could have gone wrong that night went wrong and showed Ole Miss, no, you're not there. It's not Sports Illustrated and number 4 in the country and all that thing. And you looked even 18, and Ole Miss had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter in 2018. You probably don't remember this. These games all run together for me. Like Matt Luke games, and it's nothing against Matt, but everything runs together. It feels like I watched the same game over and over and over and over.
I sort of remember this game.
Well, Carolina scored twice late, and South Carolina won 48-44.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, whatever, you just lost the game. You kind of had a bad day. But it ended up being an example. A year later, it was, hey, that's a game everybody pointed to on Matt's teams are not playing well in the fourth quarter. Matt's teams don't finish games. Matt's teams loses so many winnable games. There's coaching issues that can't get them over the hump. It became this game. Well, it's kind of reversed this time because Lane Kiffin just kind of hanging around building a program.
Sure.
And Ole Miss win, and suddenly it's, hey, look, he can't even look. Hey, he lost to a team that sucked last year.
That's their problem. The rest of their schedule is Ole Miss, Missouri, somebody, and
they have a tough schedule.
Kentucky.
Oh, it's a
schedule. Well, the problem with it is I think there are a bunch of losses in it, but their fans view those games as wins.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think their bunch of losses in it, but their fans view those games as wins. I think there are a bunch of losses in it, but their fans view those games as wins. I think their bunch of losses in it, but their fans view those games as wins.
They do not have. They only have one game left that they're it's just a guaranteed loss. They still play Georgia. Yeah.
But see,
Ole Miss.
I think Ole Miss is going to beat them. I think Missouri's going to beat them, and I think Kentucky could beat them in Lexington. You lose 3 of those 4, or 2 of those 3 I just mentioned, and then of course you lose to Georgia. I don't know how hand-raised guy in that room is really going, hey, y'all, man, we got to – seriously, we can't just dismiss the idea of making a change here. But who's out there that moves the needle?
Hugh Freeze fits them enough where I think it would move the needle.
I think so. I don't think they'd get hung up on the stuff.
I think they would convince themselves, right, wrong, whatever. Ole Miss people will get this. They'll look at the Alabama stuff and go, Hugh Freeze can beat Dabo.
Here's the other thing, too, and if I'm Hugh, I got to know this. Because I don't think Ray Tanner survives this either.
Oh, okay.
So I got to know who my AD is.
You think Tanner's in trouble?
I do.
Has it felt like he's been that tied to Muschamp that he's...
I mean, been there a while.
Yeah. Tanner's been the AD since 2013.
I think Muschamp was his hire.
Well, he was his hire. Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And there were people at the time that said he didn't win at Florida. What makes you think he's going to win here? And he hadn't. Been okay.
He is. He's okay. That's what Will is.
But games like Saturday against A&M, and for those that didn't watch it, it was an absolute mauling.
Just a bludgeoning from the very beginning.
Games like that don't go over well in year 7.
Yeah.
You can lose them in year 1. You can take a pop like that in year 1 and go, hey, not my program. I didn't recruit these guys.
Yeah, sure.
Mike Leach says, see? But, there's only so much of that you can do in year 7. Nutt got so mad at me that year in year 4 when he was like, whatever. I'm like, these are your guys. This is your program now. You got a pass in 09. You don't get a pass now. It's year 4. These are your dudes. You're not recruiting worth the damn, and it shows. You're bad for the program.
So are you.
Yeah. I'm not getting paid by it.
Oh, gosh. Table that. We'll talk about it in a second. First, tell you about Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. Tyson Drugs are in the Square in Holly Springs. G&M on South Lamar in Oxford, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync to make sure you get the medicine you need when you need it. They take care of that every single month. They fill the prescription the same day. So it's one pickup, one delivery, and make it easy for you. They also have Right Way Meds to make sure that your doses are individually packaged if that is something that can benefit you. They also have the immune support med packs to help you with a 30-day supply of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3. You can find out that and plenty more. Again, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Heritage Properties. They're home to 3 communities in Oxford, Faulkner Flats, Cambridge Station, and Lexington Point. All 3 are multifamily housing. They all offer on-site management and maintenance. They're pet-friendly. They offer short-term leases. Cambridge Station has renovated 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartments, 5 minutes from campus, multiple amenities, including free cable and internet. They're currently offering a single occupancy special, so check out Live at CambridgeStationAPTS.com or call 662-234-4558. As of this moment, our plan will be to come on at 4:30 with the scoreboard business. If the schedule changes, we'll adapt. That will be brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue, your destination for men's clothing. They're stylists, hand-select pieces from top designers. They work from work to lifestyle to nightlife. There's the perfect something for everyone. The Rogue has all the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, Duckhead, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or at therogue.com. We're also brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with a commitment to personalized service. Call them at 601-368-2215. See if they might be a good fit for your financial goals. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. And we're brought to you by Bain, Moss, and Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi that is made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620.
Yeah, Grind's talking about it in the thread, and in all seriousness, looking at this, since Fulmer, Tennessee, this is since 2008, so 12 years, this is terrible. Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Jim Chaney for a game, Butch Jones, Brady Hoke, and then Pruitt.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody worth a damn. Like, no 10-win seasons, nothing in there that did anything. I mean, Kiffin was recruiting a monster had he stayed, but otherwise...
Well, that's why they're still so mad at Kiffin, because it was
working.
He was probably going to get it done.
Yeah. And they were in full psycho mode as a fan base at that point.
When was the last time they won?
Like 1-1.
We're good. Legitimately really good.
Fulmer, right?
Yeah. When did he leave?
2007?
Yes.
8, something like that?
It's been a minute.
I mean, and that's why it's been so long that I'm tired of hey, they're just back. Or no, they just suck now as a program. That's what they are. I mean, looking at here, records. They won 9 games twice under Butch Jones, but they only went 5-3 and 4-4 in the league, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, 2007, they went 10-4, 6-2.
Okay.
That counts.
Sure.
Before that, 2004. Won the Cotton Bowl, went 7-1 in the league.
Yeah. So they've had one really good year since 2004?
Mm-hmm.
3 decent years?
Mm-hmm. That's it. SEC records: 5-3, 2-6, 0-8, 4-4, 5-3, 3-5, 2-6, 1-7, 1-7, 3-5, 4-4, 3-5.
Oof.
Hey. I think Andy once said the numbers are what you are what the numbers say you are. Numbers are.
You are what the numbers say you are.
Yeah. Those numbers say you suck.
I mean, there's a lot of schools in the league that don't get the hype that Tennessee gets that goes, hey, we've won more than that.
I posed this question to Jeffrey. From a fan base standpoint, seriously, any school in SEC history, was Saturday's state win the biggest you might have won, but it felt like a loss in SEC history? No, seriously, because Vandy is that bad.
Yeah.
You score on 3 straight possessions to start the game. You only won because Vanderbilt couldn't stop turning the damn thing over. They had 300 more total yards than you did.
If the kid doesn't make the bad throw there at the end, then I kind of felt bad for him because he'd played pretty well. If he doesn't make the bad throw, I swear to you, I think Vandy wins the game.
And my God.
Yeah. I had flipped to it because Florida felt over.
Yeah, sure.
And someone may have been drinking since 11 o'clock that morning, and I was like, oh, wow, and started kind of getting into it because it was crazy. Yeah, so, yeah, to your point, yeah.
It is number one.
There were 2 games that day, that one and then Arkansas, Tennessee, where you were like, okay, why do we keep going with the same narratives? Sometimes stuff changes and sometimes stuff doesn't work. And this isn't working. And the whole Vols are back thing, we do it because it's funny. But we need to stop doing it. Because the only people who say the Vols are back are the Vols. Nobody else does it. Because they got smoked in the second half in Fayetteville. Just smoked.
They're very average.
And Arkansas is this incredibly average team that just plays hard.
Yeah.
That's it. They're completely nondescript.
You have to beat them, and Tennessee couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vandy had turnovers out the wazoo. Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise
they win.
Potentially convincingly.
And they played so much harder than State. State's body language is bad. Vandy at least tries hard. In some ways, I thought in the second half, Vandy tried too hard.
Well, they were in a game in the second half and kind of freaked out a little bit. Like, it was like, oh, God, here we are.
Yeah. But, I mean, State, what do they have left?
State.
They still got Auburn. They still got Ole Miss. They've already gotten smoked by Bama.
Yeah, that's 41-0. But Steve said they had some positive things happen in that game. It was fun. It's gonna be all right. Let's see. They have Auburn, obviously.
Yeah.
Georgia, Missouri, and Ole Miss.
They're not a W on that deal.
No, probably not.
Who are they beating?
So they're
not beating Auburn.
So they're LSU in 9 potentially.
Yeah. Well, they're not beating Auburn. I don't think they're beating Ole Miss today.
Score with.
I don't think they can beat Missouri. I don't. I think Missouri's okay.
Ole Miss and Missouri are pretty similar teams
Yeah.
right now. Ole Miss has a much higher ceiling as a program, but they're pretty similar as teams.
But this year they both score a lot of points.
And Georgia's just going to maul them.
I think.
But physically, they're going to maul them. Yeah. Yeah. The line moving, by the way, hard on Ole Miss this week.
It started at 7.
Where did we get it at?
9.5, I think.
It was still going, though.
Where is it now?
It was at 11 at one point.
Really?
Yeah, that thing was bouncing like crazy. Georgia, Missouri, if it gets played, Georgia 12-point favorites on that one, 11.5 on some books. Take your pick. Vanderbilt and Kentucky, 17. Virtue with the Wildcats there. And that one, see, Indiana giving 7.5 to Michigan State. Tom Allen in line right now for National Coach of the Year honors, I would assume. Let's see, Penn State, Nebraska, -3 for the 0-3 Nittany Lions. James Franklin, 0-3. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Let's see. Kind of a fun game. Army-Tulane this weekend. Tulane giving 5.5 to the Cadets. Liberty giving 33 to Western Carolina, if you care. North Carolina, it's working out for the most part. -13.5 against Wake Forest. Louisiana Monroe getting 20 against Arkansas State, as you mentioned. They suck.
I don't think we've won one.
They are. Are they winless?
I think so.
Maryland had got plenty of mileage out of their win over Penn State on social media on Saturday night. They will not get much mileage this Saturday. They host Ohio State. They're 25-point underdogs against the Buckeyes. I didn't really mind them running up the social media mess on Penn State, though. Go ahead, have some fun. It's all good. Let's see. Memphis and Navy, 12.5 in that one. Notre Dame, Boston College. Notre Dame, Clemson was a really freaking fun football game on Saturday night.
It was.
It was good.
It was.
It was really fun.
I was having such a hard time staying awake in the overtimes.
A&M, Tennessee. A&M giving 8 to the Vols this weekend. Alabama, LSU, as of now, 28 is the line in that one. Let's see. Arkansas, Florida, 17.5. Gators over the Razorbacks. That feels big.
That's a big number. Florida coming off a big emotional win. Kyle Pitts probably not going to play.
Oh, is he out?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
You see that collision he had with the Georgia DB? Oh, yeah. My God. Literally, I looked at Laura and I said, that's why he's not playing football.
The line is currently 11 with 63% of the money on the Rebels.
Yeah.
So, Shark is projecting a 35-24 Ole Miss victory.
That's about right.
That's what they're saying.
That's about what I think.
You can currently get 11.5 on the Rebels. Let's see. You can 11. Actually, it's 11.5 all the way around now. 11.5. Money line. God, this is a huge money line. Now, from a money line standpoint, I'd have to put a couple bucks on Carolina. Ole Miss to win 100, you've got to bet 405. That feels like too much.
And if I put 100 on the Gamecocks, what do I get?
360. That's the bet if you're going to bet today.
If you're searching for a
If you just want to find some value somewhere, that's where.
But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced they can do it. All right. G210 Reb, are these facts that you're putting out, or are you reading this somewhere? I don't want to go too far with that.
Well, now that could be a reason Billy was a little frustrated. If that's one of the two, I have no idea.
Has he tweeted anything, Billy? More?
Not that I've seen. I mean, I'll look. I don't know.
It's on a Texas A&M board. Okay, let me check that out.
Not right now. He's not said anything else of note.
I'm looking for rumors here. Let's see.
I know it's bad pod.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. They can't postpone a game just because a quarterback is unavailable, even if it is the starter. The question is there another quarterback?
If you have a couple quarterbacks,
you only have to have one quarterback.
Yeah. So, is anyone on your roster a quarterback? Are they in? Well, look, that's some of the reason Ole Miss moved some guys around, too. Not only to help some other areas, but, I mean, let's just be honest. They didn't want to get caught into a situation where they have to play a game because the one quarterback's the fourth-string dude. So you get them off that line on the sheet.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is what it is. While you're looking at that, I'll tell you, the podcast also brought to you by Visit Oxford. VisitOxfordMS.com is the website. They are the sponsor of our Oxford Eats every single Saturday. We'll have that Saturday afternoon in our either our pregame show or the in-game show. I'm not sure which one yet. Again, we'll start at 4:30 for that. Double-decker bus will be out in front of Visit Oxford on Saturday, 3 to 4 for that. Tunes around town, 5 to 7 on Friday, something that's been going really, really well when they've had it. You can walk around, get some ice cream, get some dinner, and then find music acts throughout the square throughout those 2-hour period. You just kind of walk around and have some different sounds as you go. You also have sounds on the square November 14th, 3 to 5 prior to the football game. Lafayette County PRCA Rodeo is November 27th. Tickets probably going early for that as well. So plenty of different things. We'll get more to you as well. Visit OxfordMS.com.
We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB also has a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. Also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about taking a holiday trip, already planning something big for next summer. Carson and I have been talking about our boys' trip next summer, which probably will be a lot different than a lot of our previous boys' trips because who knows if you can go to games or not. So we'll probably get in touch with John, give him some ideas, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give us some options. And just like us, we don't have to live in Memphis. You don't either to take advantage of the services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first book trip by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. Also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is also home to the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services team. They can conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Just mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Get 10% off your first year's fees. And we are brought to you by Dead Soxy, DeadSoxy.com, deadsoxy.com. Enter the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 30% off your order there at Dead Soxy, the best socks you will ever put on your feet. We'll have picks up on Thursday. There's a new leader, and it's neither one of the people in this room. And they're brought to you by the College Corner, your one-stop Rebel shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, the College Corner is next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. You can visit the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com. And you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. So whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. Largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. Again, collegecornerstore.com.
I asked Jeffrey this yesterday. And I mean, obviously, all NFC North jokes aside, is the NFC already down to the Packers and the Saints? Is there anybody else in there that you feel like can run through there? Seattle's still a bit of a question mark, but that defense is bad.
Yeah, they're good enough offensively that
Sure.
they're scary. I'm not completely ready to count Tampa out. I know what they looked like on Sunday night, but still,
Brady can be Brady.
Yeah.
But what Father Time has done to him has made him inconsistent.
Yeah.
So can you put it together 3 times in a row?
The answer is probably not, but it's still Tom Brady in the playoffs.
And if you're the 5 seed, you get that sucky NFC East in the first round.
Yeah. No, it's probably
I'm not believing in Arizona yet to that level. They're good, but not
yet.
to that level.
Not yet. It's probably those two.
The Bears have fallen off.
Nah. The Bears aren't good enough on offense. The Bears are good enough on defense to be pretty solid and in games, but they can't score. They got to figure their quarterback deal out.
If the Chiefs and the Steelers allow it, the AFC has a chance to be kind of fun. There's at least more teams that I feel like could pop somebody for a week.
Titans.
Yeah. They know who they are. I mean,
they know who they are. I tell you what, they got a running back and a wide receiver that are badass.
To start, yeah.
And a quarterback that ain't bad. Can make plays with his feet a little bit. Tannehill's a better athlete than he gets credit for.
Oh, he moves well. Yeah, he runs.
And AJ's a stud now. And Henry's a bad boy.
I get that this one game can skew this. It's only 9 in. Buffalo's at 7-2. They're a great story. They're gonna hold off the Dolphins. They're gonna win the AFC East.
Yeah, they're good.
Their point differential is only +9 on the season. That is amazing for a team 5 games over 500.
Yeah, they've had some luck. They've won some close games. There's some credit there. They're still a young team kind of getting going. This feels like their year that they kind of take a playoff lump.
The entire NFC West has positive point differentials.
Yeah.
The whole division. 49ers, Rams, Seahawks,
yeah,
Cardinals.
I wouldn't want to play the Cardinals in a playoff game. They'd scare me.
If season started today, Pittsburgh would have the 1 seed in the AFC, Kansas City would have the 2 seed in the AFC, and your first-round games would be the Buffalo Bills hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Tennessee Titans hosting the Baltimore Ravens in the first round.
Titans-Ravens game would be
That'd be really good, in Tennessee in that one. The Dolphins are the 7 seed as of now. Tua's done a good job there in 2 weeks. And the team has played
Tua
well around him.
Tagovailoa is a good quarterback. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
nobody saw that coming.
He played really well this past week. I thought he got helped out a ton by the rest of his team against the Rams, but yes, he is 2-0 as a starter and playing well.
He's charismatic as hell. He just without an injury, there's just no way he's not a really good quarterback.
And that feels like a 6-7 team deal because I don't believe in the Browns or the Colts to make any run up through that.
No.
So that feels like it there. Jets have moved to 0-9 for the first time in franchise history last night as the Patriots came back and won that football game.
Well, if you're the Jets, you don't want to suddenly start winning.
You lose now.
I mean, you
3-13 ain't winning you a trophy. So
hey, fellas, we made it this far.
Yeah, you're over halfway there, guys. Yeah. Good job. In the NFC,
you've got COVID, don't you?
Yeah. In the NFC, as of right now, the New Orleans Saints would be the 1 seed. The Seattle Seahawks would be the 2 seed. And your opening round games would be the Green Bay Packers hosting the Arizona Cardinals and the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Rams are tied as well for that 6th spot.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the Saints have the softest schedule remaining of the teams in the NFC.
Georgia Rebel says 7 teams make it this year. Only 1 gets the bye. Is that right?
I think they did do that. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So that puts the Rams in the NFC.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that means 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. So it switches up who plays who as well.
Gotcha.
Makes the 1 seed really, really freaking important. But this is what's interesting about the Saints' schedule is it's pretty pillowy soft. I mean, they're 6-2 currently. They've got 8 to go. 49ers who've got all sorts of issues right now. So if you're going to play the 49ers, you want to play them right now with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons, Broncos, Falcons, Eagles. Now a hell of a game against the Chiefs. Vikings, Panthers. That's the Saints remaining 8. 6-2, nowhere near out of the question there. Let's see.
Did you see where the Chicago White Sox hired Tony La Russa?
And then was all good when his DUI came out.
I mean, I get it. This is the year of the old man. We had Trump versus Biden and now La Russa. I get it. At least we're being consistent. La Russa, 76. He gets pulled over. Did you hear about the police report?
No.
He says, in the affidavit, the officer described him as argumentative.
And this arrest was in like February, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was hoping that we get supposedly there is audio where he
Memphis and Navy postponed now as well.
He does the "Do you know who I am?"
Did he?
Supposedly.
It was my favorite part on Twitter today. I don't know who did it, so I don't know who to give the credit for. But said that all these rules he's breaking, if they were unwritten, he would follow every single one of them. That was my favorite quote of the day today. How do you sit in a room and go, yeah, Tony La Russa is the answer to our team?
Yeah, where was Hand-Ray's guy in that room? Because Hand-Ray's guy in that room would have been like, hey, whoa, anyone else?
Yeah. What's Dusty Baker doing? Like, what are we doing?
I mean,
Jim Leland still alive? Like, what are we doing?
Did Ron Karkovice, is he not around? I mean, just start naming people.
I know Sparky's dead, but like, who else is around?
We could take the Trump-Biden loser, and it's better than this.
I mean, seriously, in 2020, the world that is baseball, I don't get it. Anyway, whatever. Let's see. Anything else going on? Yeah, Navy Memphis also. Somebody asked me in the thread earlier. Yeah, I did see John Rahm get a hole-in-one today by skipping the ball across the water on 16 in Augusta. Till he tries it in an actual round, though. I mean, come on, I'm kidding. It was impressive. It is. I told Jeffrey this yesterday. There's a certain thing about the Masters that it's so dictated by time of year. You're just ready for it in April. It's spring. It's new.
Sure.
Everything's blooming. The temperatures are warming up. That cannot replicate the same way in November. It just does not feel. It does not feel like Masters Week. It just doesn't feel right at all. It's an entirely different deal right now. So
this is from Gabe DeArmond.
Sure.
Missouri's game against Georgia, scheduled for Saturday at 11, is still a go for now, but the Tigers are working through COVID-19 issues this afternoon that could change that. A source told PowerMizzou.com that the Tigers are going through contact tracing and assessing the numbers on the roster on Tuesday afternoon. Missouri coach Elia Drinkwitz was supposed to address the media at noon on his regularly scheduled press conference, but that was pushed back to 5:15. The team hopes to have more information on the roster situation by that time. Let's see. Missouri's been COVID-free for the past few weeks. As of last Thursday, Drinkwitz said that Missouri hadn't reported a player or coach testing positive in about a month since the week leading up to the team's upset of LSU on October the 11th. So here are the guidelines. You have to have 53 players, at least one quarterback, 7 offensive linemen, and 4 defensive linemen to play the following week. So the whole, well, we don't have a tight end, they don't care. We don't have a deep snapper, find one. One quarterback, 7 offensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen.
that's it.
That's it. 53 players.
Yeah. Reading some tea leaves, if this ends up being correct, my guess is, like somebody said in the thread, mine is very likely a contact trace.
Which sucks because there's no way to test out of that.
That's
You
what I'm
missed
saying.
2 weeks.
So my point is with Billy going, hey, this would impact Ole Miss as well, it's very
Yeah.
possible Ole Miss gets a huge gift next Saturday.
Yeah.
That he simply contact traced into this thing and has to miss 2 games, barring the one player testing out. So A&M potentially without their starting quarterback 2 weeks in a row because of one positive test on another player. And it's just the way it is right now. So
Boy, if they go to Tennessee and win without Mond, you might can pack those bags up.
yeah, because optically that.
Yeah, the optics get rough. That's even worse than going to Fayetteville and losing.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
100%.
But if you told Tennessee fans before the season you're going to lose by 14 to Arkansas, they'd be like, oh, come on.
The backup at Texas A&M, just somebody's curious, is Zach Calzada, a redshirt freshman who I've literally never heard of.
Nope.
So it may be his time to shine there.
But that won't. I mean, you can't. That's A&M trying to get out of a game.
They're trying to have not enough players available right now.
Yeah, they don't want to go play the SEC championship game. What they're hoping is that Alabama goes 10-0, they go 9-1, then they slip in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, their only chance is to get some help and go 9-1. So we'll obviously monitor that. We'll see what A&M's saying as the day and the week moves on. Again, podcast tomorrow, same time here with you on Wednesday afternoon around 1 o'clock. A lot of stuff at rebelgrove.com. Go check that out, and they'll have a mailbag tomorrow and more. So we appreciate everyone in the live stream, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.